Moments. Okay.
All right. How are we doing today, Gina? Doing all right?
Yeah, good. How are you guys doing?
Doing well, thanks. And thank you for taking the time out to meet with us today.
Oh gosh, are you kidding me? I've been dying for this moment.
Sal, do you want to do introductions to start with?
Yeah, absolutely. So on the call today, we have myself, Sal, over in planning. We have Kyle over, Director of Development Services. We have Ava, who is our zoning administrator. We have Ashley McDonald, who's one of our principal planners. We have Clinton over in traffic, as well as Aaron and Suzanne.
Hello, everyone.
All right. So let me go ahead and pull up the documents here. They're going to be pretty much the same documents we've seen at the previous hearing and the ones that we've been working with. I know you're still trying to work on grabbing some of those documents from Adam, so we'll go ahead and pull up ours for today.
Thank you.
Yeah. And basically, why we wanted to sit down with you today and have this discussion is we know that Adam is no longer representing you on the case, and we just wanted to make sure that we were, all on the same page moving forward, and just wanted to see, what the plan is for your end, and ensure, you're caught up on, the processes, the upcoming dates, and just, how we're going to move forward with the project. And, we've had some pretty substantial discussions in the past, regarding the, right-of-way and some of the dedication here on site. And just, it is typical with the rezoning application that right-of-way is dedicated due to the changing in the use of the property itself. So in this, for instance, we're in a residential property, and now we're in the process of rezoning to a more intensive use such as commercial. So in the rezoning process, it's typical to have right-of-way dedication for those future street networks and pedestrian access networks, especially in this situation where we do have that misalignment between Lexington and Lindsay. So that's, more or less where we're coming from here from staff. The dedication and right-of-way is not something, out of the normal. It is something that we do see pretty much on every zoning case we do have here with the town. So we just wanted to sit down, with you today, Gina, and just kind of let you, ask any questions you may have, and then also, clarify any questions or processes that we have on our end.
Okie dokie. Let me just write a couple of notes. Okay, so you're saying every rezoning case has a right-of-way.
It is typical when we are changing the zoning classification. Like
To
I
this
said,
extent?
It is
To this extent, a right-of-way to this extent?
for the 40 feet.
Yeah, like 20% of a property, 18% of property.
So if I'm not mistaken, Aaron or Clint, the typical right-of-way is indeed 40 feet when for a collector, a major collector.
But I'm asking, you're saying generally this is what happens for anyone who wants to rezone. My issue is not giving you guys the property. Let me just put out some stuff. The report that you guys are using is based on a year before you came to me to buy my property. Do you think that it would have been right for you to probably bought the rest of it at that time? You're greatly diminishing the value of my property, requiring me as a resident to pay for a right-of-way. You guys could just pay me fair market value for my property and you won't have an issue. And then the road is a separate issue. But I've been done dirty by the town really bad. And Adam did not stand up for me. I think he was terrible. His representation was terrible. I think it's wrong the way I've been treated. It's been a year and a half since I started this process. And can I ask why has it taken a year and a half? Adam blames you.
Right. So I know with this application, it wasn't necessarily, just a GP and rezone. We did have that annexation that did begin the application process. And the annexation typically is a lengthier process compared to our other applications, as, we do have to follow specific state statute, ensure that the that the clerk's office has the property recorded, that signatures are obtained. And there also is some time or some timelines in the annexation process itself. So we couldn't necessarily approve or get those general plans and rezoning applications completed until the annexation itself is completed, which we are bringing to the 23rd hearing, and that's why we're also able to tack on the general plan and rezone applications on that night as well.
That was also filed a year and a half ago. This is crazy.
Right.
I think you guys, I tore down my house that I spent $150,000 to modify and make fully accessible. You guys came to me. You want to expand. I didn't want to live there with that much traffic. You guys didn't want to put in a road. You didn't want to spend the money. So I spent $40,000 to tear my house down, to move into my rental that I lost income in, and to fight you guys for a year and a half. So lost interest, so much. I missed out on the bubble, on the real estate bubble. My property, the value of my property is probably about $350,000 less because of this. And now you guys want me to give you land as a resident. This is the majority of my portfolio. Nobody agrees with this. I have posted it on social media. It has millions of views, thousands of comments. This is disgusting. I don't know how you guys can sit here and look me in the face and act like this is okay.
So, Gina, let me change the conversation a little bit. So that whenever there is a request by a property owner, whether it's a resident, a developer, what have you, the town, whenever there's a request for rezoning, the town has the ability to request right-of-way. So let's take the road, the right-of-way that we purchased and set it aside. That was a different project. Today we're talking about the piece of property you have left after we've purchased some of it, and you're coming in and you're asking the town to change the zoning on it. That gives us the opportunity to request the right-of-way, and it's the only chance we get to request the right-of-way for development of the property. The right-of-way is set at 40 feet based on the classification of the roadway adjacent to it. That is a standard, typical process that happens on every single piece of property, whether it's 40 acres in size, whether it's an acre in size. So it may be a large percentage of your property, but that is the requirement to develop in the town of Gilbert with that type of right-of-way adjacent to it.
I recognize that. Those are facts, but the facts are I also tore my house down in assurances that I would be able to rezone without any issues. I have spent thousands of dollars on plans based on the land that I thought I was going to get to keep. Okay, these are all negotiations that we had before. I tore down my house with your assurances. So where is that?
So I don't know who gave you any assurances, and I would be somewhat surprised if we did, because staff does not control this. The town council is who controls the rezoning of the property. We could support it, we could get all the way to town council, and for some reason town council could say, no, we don't believe that this is the correct zoning for the property. So staff does not control this at all, and we would definitely not give assurances to anybody that their property was going to be rezoned, because we know that that's a council decision and not something that the town can control.
Well, an agent of your town gave me the assurances, and I used your, I'm sorry, is somebody saying something?
Sal's neighbor's talking loud.
The thing is, I would have never torn my house down, one, and I would have never used your guys' construction company. Like, there's a lot of things here. It's really dirty, I think, like what's going on here. I have to be honest, because you guys make me spend all this money on a traffic report that says you don't need it, and then you ignore it. You guys make me submit all of these plans to tell me they won't work. Like, you're bleeding me out of money, like without any care about what it is doing to me as a resident. You're acting like I'm a developer. I'm a disabled woman just trying to pay my bills. This is killing me. This is killing me. What you guys are doing is so wrong. That's a lot of property. That's $400,000 worth of property. that you just want me to give you? I'm a resident. I'm not a builder. That was my home. I wanted to stay there. You guys booted me out of there. And now you want me to give you land.
Well, there's a lot there. I don't. You made the statement that you chose to tear down the house because you didn't want to live next to that kind of traffic.
I would have stayed there.
You followed up with the statement that we forced you out of the home. So I'm confused about.
It's your development, and you wouldn't. You said we're going to have to put. It was 4 years ago, and had I known that this would have happened, I would have had everything in writing. But you said we're going to have to put in a road. We know that you have plans to rezone, because it was getting so crazy around there. Your construction was insane. Your construction, nobody can stand that noise. You guys had an easement on my property, okay? So, yes, you did push me out of there. Who wants to live with that? Nobody. That was my residence. I was happy to be there. I had a fully accessible kitchen I could actually cook in. I'm living in a place that's not accessible. It's horrible. This sucks. Like, I wouldn't have tore it down for fun. I did it based on the assurances that I wasn't going to have an issue going through rezoning, because that's the only option I had. That's the only option I had. And you guys gave me stub ups. You gave me stub ups. So you knew I was going commercial. That was part of the agreement.
Val, where are we with our items, and should we walk through those to try to see where we're at and what our next steps will be?
Yeah, for the most recent rezoning plans?
Yes, because we're going to council in 2 weeks?
Correct,
So
correct.
It'd be great to kind of walk through these and try to solve any outstanding issues before we get there.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me go ahead and grab those documents.
Through the early process.
Let me know if you all can see that.
And we discussed emergency services. We had representatives from our fire team and
All right.
police department.
Perfect. Thank you. So, as you know, this is the most recent zoning plan we do have here from staff. This is the exhibit that we did bring forward to Planning Commission, and is the document that we would have in our town council packet. So, going into the property in a little bit of more detail regarding that 40 feet. I know traffic has touched on it previously, and that 40 feet necessarily isn't starting from the property line. It's starting from the center line of Lexington and then shifting down 40 feet to the south, which can be seen here for this call out. But it's also important to see on this plan that, like you did mention in the past, the town did purchase some of the bordering property along Lindsay as well as Lexington. So when we move down this 40 feet along the property line itself, it does tend to tail off. So it's not necessarily 40 feet throughout the entire width of the property. I believe it starts to tail down to around 12 feet to 10 feet. So it may seem like it is straight 40 feet across the entirety of the property. But based off, previous applications and where that measurement is starting from, it's not a true 40-foot width throughout the strip of your property. But moving forward, for town council, it's just important that, we can work through these discussions, where we are now. I know some things have happened in the past with the property and applications, and things may have been, promised or said that may have not been, true from the town side, but, a lot of us weren't with us back in, 2017, 2016, when this initially did occur. So we're just really trying our best to, move this forward, and, and we're really just trying to get this to our truest standards and help you out as much as we can to get this to the end goal, which is to, ultimately rezone to that general commercial.
I don't know.
Yeah. Can I just make a point too, by the way? I don't know if any of you know exactly why it's not straight, on the top, why they didn't buy that little slice on the left. I'm sure you guys are trying to figure out, why didn't they just buy a straight line? I had a very expensive electric gate you guys did not want to pay me for. And that's why. So if I would have known that you guys were going to take this land anyway, I would have sold it to you then. Jesus, this is so crazy. I'm sure you're wondering why it wasn't straight. That's why.
Mhm.
And that's the thing, Gina, is, a lot of us here don't necessarily know the backstory of how these pieces became the way they were. But it's just, really important as we get to this,
It
this
is
tail
really
end of the
important.
application for
I-
town council.
These all should have been communicated by Adam. Okay. I really feel like you guys didn't hear him. He didn't communicate effectively. And I'm the one that's getting the shaft, which really sucks. It's cost me a lot of money, a lot. But I don't think it's fair that you guys don't pay me because of the fact that you had the opportunity when it was my residence. And you should have done what was right. Now you're requiring a disabled female citizen that does not do business in the town in any way, shape, or form to pay for things like a developer. I'm happy to give you guys time to think about it and maybe come back with something different, but I don't feel comfortable moving forward with this. Nobody thinks it's okay. There's a public outcry. It's obviously wrong and unethical. I think you guys know that. Like, nobody can sit here and act like this is totally okay. Like, this is wrong. And so I hope that the town will do something right, because I don't want to make it a big fight. I don't want to have to fight you anywhere. I don't want to do it on social media. I don't want to do it at the town. I don't want to do it in court. I just want to be done. I want to get paid for what's rightfully mine and be done. I don't care about giving you guys the land. I mean, you're diminishing my value, but if you make it up to me, I'm okay with that.
So are you referring to the 40 foot of right of way that's the required dedication with the rezoning?
Yeah, at least, I mean, that's crazy that you guys are really wanting to take 18% of my property. 18%.
Yeah, that's the standard requirement for right-of-way dedication with the rezoning in the town. And I appreciate you saying that you're not a developer, but when you start down a path like this to rezone property, you actually kind of are a developer, because you're
How so?
changing the zoning of the property to a greater classification.
I'm not developing anything. I am not developing anything. Absolutely
That's
not.
fine.
No.
We have a little different opinion on that, but I understand. But the 40 feet is a standard requirement of any zoning in the town, and that's not one that we would pay for. The 22 feet, if we ever get to that discussion in the future, is something that if we want that as right of way, then we absolutely would have to compensate you for that.
You already said that you would strike that.
I'm sorry?
You guys already said you would strike that off of there. Are you adding it back
Yeah.
on?
No, we're not adding it back on. I'm just
Well,
saying
then,
in the future,
I don't know what that
if
one
for any
is.
reason we ever decided to move down that path, then
No.
that would be one that we would
Absolutely not.
compensate you for.
I need
But
assurances
the 40
that
feet,
I need
40 feet is the required dedication.
No, I need assurances that you guys aren't going to switch it up again, because that's what happens why my stuff gets pushed out for a year and a half. You guys change your mind halfway through and then I'm stuck with it.
Yeah, well, we've got a planning commission recommendation that doesn't include that, and that's what's planned on going to council. So that would not be included in the approvals. So
Was that added the day of?
we took it out the day of.
When was that added?
That I don't know.
Sal?
Yeah, so that discussion regarding that extra 22 feet for a potential future date was actually in discussion for, I believe, the life of the application. That was something staff went, back and forth with Adam, pretty much the entire length of the property, or I'm sorry, of the application. And that's also one of the reasons why it did ultimately take so long to bring to that hearing, is it was, back and forth from, applicant and staff requesting 22 and then ultimately coming to a condition. And then, after discussing the condition with you all that day, it became, a best decision to strike that condition and just proceed with the 40 feet.
So
But
wait,
that 22 feet was never, a surprise that was on the table through discussions in the past.
according to Adam, it was added that day.
Well, it couldn't have been added that day because the packet went out to the planning commission about a month ago.
I'll see that real quick.
I was never aware of that.
Yeah, if you could. You
So,
could send it over to me.
yeah, this is becoming very evident. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna fight this because here's why. This is all based on prior to when you bought land from me. That would have been fair and just. You guys didn't pay me for a really expensive gate. I worked with you, all of that, and now you guys want me to donate so much land. You're claiming I'm a developer, and I will definitely fight that. I don't know. Then I think we're going to be at a standstill. Yeah. I can't be okay with this. I'm happy to sell you the land. I am. But no.
Sal, is there anything else that's outstanding?
Go, I totally understand.
Right-of-way discussion?
Other than the right-of-way discussion, there's nothing else outstanding on the application. Everything else has been pretty smooth sailing. I know the only, topics of discussion pretty much throughout the life of the application was indeed the right-of-way at the potential 22, but everything else on the project has been pretty much resolved.
Okay. So Gina, you still want us to move this forward to the January 23rd council meeting?
I think I'm going to seek some other counsel in the meantime. Let me see. Give me until the beginning of next week.
Just make sure when you're submitting that design review.
I do think,
Your phasing plan.
I mean, I'm well aware that my only option is to let you guys do this to me and then I go to the appeal, right? Which I did speak to an appeal attorney and he thinks I'll be successful. But it is wrong because you guys don't reimburse me for my attorney's fees, which I am going to push that gets changed actually in the town. You guys are really putting me in a bad spot. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let me.
I'm sorry you feel that way. We're a little bit torn between following the requirements of the town and finding ways to not follow the requirements of the town. I mean, it's very difficult for us as well. So we've got that scheduled for January 23rd to go to the council meeting. It's up to you. I mean, that's what it's scheduled for, and we can take it that evening. If you'd like to continue it anytime between now and that date, let us know. If you seek additional counsel and want to kind of revisit this before it goes to council for a vote, we can absolutely ask council to continue it again. Whatever you'd like us to do, for sure.
Yeah, I'll probably end up pushing it out and then having the public show up to the next one in support of me because I have a lot of people who are wanting to show up to the town council meetings. So I think a little bit of public outcry will be really good for this. I'm just over it. This is so horrible. Anyway, okay. And then also, I'm sorry. I'm just really overwhelmed.
I understand.
This is just so wrong. Okay. And then you guys also have a town road on my land. What are we going to do about that?
I believe Sal has some information on that as well.
And just for clarification, we're talking about that northern strip on Lexington, correct?
Yeah.
Correct.
So I believe CIP is in the process of trying to acquire that property with you. I believe right now things are put on a pause just until the GP rezone and annexation all come to a finale here. And once those are all cleaned up, they are going to proceed forward with that application.
I don't understand why those are tied together. It's completely different, separate properties.
Yeah, I agree with you. We can talk internally about that. I don't know why. I don't know why those two would be joined together.
You're just holding onto my money for longer.
Yeah, let us have that conversation internally and see if we can't move that piece forward quicker.
Thank you.
We'll be happy to work with you on that.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Gina. If you need anything at all, please call Sal. He's
Thanks.
your contact, and we're more than happy to put people together and have conversations as needed. So
Yeah, if
So
you
I'm
guys change your
understanding
mind, same, I'm willing to listen. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, the fact that you could have bought this land from me and you should have, that would have been the right thing to do. If you knew this whole time, if you knew you needed that land, I don't know why you would do that. Why would you guys let me spend all that money on all those plans to submit and not even warn me? Like, it just is so crazy. It's
No,
crazy.
I see your point, but I see some other sides of it as well. So, but yeah, it's an excellent point.
Yeah, but okay. Anyway, well, I look forward to fighting with you guys.
Okay, please keep in touch. Let
Thank
Sal
you.
know what you'd like to do with the application.
All right, you guys will see me and everyone else that I can get at that city council meeting.
Okay,
Thank you.
Gina.
Appreciate
Bye.
the time, Gina. Thank you very
Bye.
much.
They're horrible. This is. They screwed me. They just did me so dirty. I'm a developer? Oh my God. This is just too much.